Hello there, I'm Mary Jo Land and I'm a registered psychotherapist in Priceville, Ontario, Canada. I'm a psychotherapist who works with children and families. The children and families that I work with have experienced trauma and loss and perhaps attachment disruptions. So I specialize in children who are in adoptive homes, foster care, customary care, and I also specialize in working with children and families who have experienced forced migration or the effects of war. So I would like to welcome you to this video series, and it is called When We Are Very Young. It is created to assist parents and professionals who work with parents. Many of the videos pertain to children who have joined families through adoption, foster care, or customary care. Some of the videos are about typical child development, while others are more specific to children who have experienced loss, trauma, and neglect during their early years. Attachment, trauma, and parenting are the main themes in this series. We're going to begin this series today with some general discussions around attachment and its importance to society. What is attachment? Why does it matter? What can we do to enhance secure attachment in our society? Each of these three questions has been addressed by many authors in many volumes. I humbly wish to add my 2 cents worth to the conversation as a mother, as a professional who works with traumatized children, as a Canadian, and as a person who just lives on this planet. This planet, the health of this planet depends on human behavior. I'm going to stick my neck out here and I'm going to say that protecting the development of secure attachment in most children is a critical pathway to the peaceful future of human society and the well-being of our planet. Let me explain. But first, let's define our terms. The term attachment refers to the quality of the relationship between a child and his or her parent, and between intimate adults, although I'm not going to go into that at this point. With respect to the term parent, in all of my work, the term refers to the primary nurturer of the child, be it mother, father, grandparent, foster parent, adoptive parent, or customary care parent. Parent is the person who is responsible for meeting the needs of the child and growing that child up in a permanent relationship. There may be 1 or 2 parents in a child's life, and maybe there is 1 alternate carer. The term child refers to any infant, toddler, child, or youth who is still in a position of dependency. To make things clearer, I'm going to use the term attachment to refer to the child's relationship with the parent, and bonding to refer to the parent's relationship with the child. Attachment and bonding are lifelong processes beginning with birth and ending with when both members of the relationship are dead. Attachment is an intimate process, and it is an innate process. That is, it is present in all healthy mammal newborns. All newborn mammals behave in such a way as to entice their mother, or other lactating female, to provide milk, shelter, warmth, and protection. Later, socialization into the group will also become an important aspect of the attachment relationship, as we shall see. So, attachment is the system by which mammalian infants, including humans, entice an adult to meet their needs for survival. Without attachment behaviors, mammalian infants would be abandoned and not survive. Attachment behaviors in infant humans are crying, gazing at the human face, and settling when fed and comfortable. Later, when mobile, infants call for and reach for their parent. There are reciprocal bonding processes in mother mammals, which are powerful drives to protect, nourish, and care for infants born to the mother. Interestingly, many mammals will accept offspring from another mother if her own infant is of a similar age or has died. Together, these two systems of attachment and bonding work quite well, ensuring the survival of most infant mammals. Now, beyond survival, attachment has many other physiological, psychological, and social outcomes. When the primary parent is attentive, responsive, and sensitive to the needs of the child will develop an attachment style that is secure. If the parent is not attentive, responsive, or sensitive, then the child will more likely have an anxious or insecure attachment style. The child will be more likely to be worried about or concerned about or focused on getting his or her needs met rather than playing, socializing, and learning. If the parent is actually frightened, harmful, or neglectful, then the child may develop a disorganized attachment style to the parent, which may or may not generalize to other parents and caregivers. All this in the first 18 months of life. So, you might surmise from this description that attachment style is not a choice that is made by the child. It's not a decision. The quality of the relationship with the parent determines the attachment style of the child with that parent. Attachment style is resistant to change, although not unchangeable. However, the experiences of the first 2 years of life form the foundation for the formation of the personhood of the child. Let's now talk about the outcomes of two different types of attachment security: secure attachment and disorganized attachment. The outcomes of secure attachment are increased resilience to change and stress, increased empathy and compassion, and increased ability to regulate emotions and behavior. Most importantly are the deeply held concepts, or John Bowlby's term, internal working models, of self, others, and the world. Those with secure attachment style understand themselves as good, loved, and worthy of love. The concept of others is that they too are good, or beneficent, and trustworthy. And the world, well, it's a safe place to explore. In contrast, children who have experienced frightened, harmful, or neglectful parents do not have these same deeply held beliefs, but they have internal working models of themselves as bad, unloved, and not worthy of love. Other people are maleficent, or they have hostile intentions and motivations. Also, they are not trustworthy. So, of course, the world does not feel like a safe place to enjoy. The outcomes of disorganized attachment are decreased trust in others, which makes sense if you feel that they're hostile, decreased ability to self-regulate, that is, they're volatile or reactive in their emotions and their behavior, and decreased empathy and compassion. They don't really get other people or understand other people so well. Often, there is an increased problem with cognition and learning, physiological problems to do with sleep or eating or regulating the gut, and these are related to trauma as well as a compromised overall health and sense of well-being. In other words, and this is supported by research, and this is why attachment is so important, attachment security is the best overall predictor of lifetime health, both physical and mental health and well-being. Take that in for a minute. Yeah, secure attachment style, developed in the first 18 months of life, is the best predictor of lifelong health and well-being. I think that I've answered the first question about what is attachment, and I think we've also got into, well, why does it matter? And as you can see, it really does matter. Let's look at some numbers. And here I'm quoting from some work that Dan Siegel refers to in his wonderful audio series, The Neurobiology of We. In early attachment research on adults in the 1970s, it was determined that 60 to 65% of adults had a secure attachment style, while 20 to 30% were insecure and 5 to 10% were disorganized. Recent findings in the United States are finding that these proportions are changing. The proportion of securely attached adults has dropped to about 50%, and the proportion of insecure, disorganized attachment style adults is increasing accordingly. Well, let's take that in. In about 2 generations in the United States, the proportion of people with secure attachment has dropped by 10 to 15% of the total population. I haven't seen any research in Canada, but I suspect that perhaps the situation is not quite as dire because we do support the parent-infant attachment process with maternity leave. We have had 1 year of maternity leave very, very recently. Justin Trudeau's government has extended 1 year to 18 months while not changing the financial benefits. And the US usually has a very limited maternity leave of 3 to 6 weeks in many jurisdictions. Infant daycare in the United States is the norm. In Canada, we have other considerations. Because we have a health care funded by the taxpayers, the proportion of secure attachment in the population would have a direct impact on the cost of health care. Any decline in attachment security proportion would result in increasing health care costs. Additionally, many studies suggest that our prison population comprises mostly disorganized attachment style persons. Increases in the proportion of disorganized attachment would likely result in increased crime and costs for policing, the justice system, and the penal system. I think that any decline in attachment security proportion puts our society at greater risk, not only financially, but in terms of interpersonal safety and global security. In the next episode, I will continue these thoughts and opinions discussing adult attachment outcomes of attachment security and its relationship to peace capacity in individuals and societies. I will suggest some ideas about how to enhance attachment security in our society. I thank you very much for joining me. It's not much of a tale, but I'm sort of attached to it. I'm Mary Jo Land, and until next time.